you ever see anything in Meghan as she was growing up, before the rift, before she met Harry, which made you think that she was capable of this kind of complete cutting off, that she was capable of doing that?
Meghan lived with me from the 6th grade to high school, and I never saw anything like that with her. And well, also college, we get along fine then too as well. I never saw the kind of woman she turned into.
Thomas Markle just cleared up one of the most confusing age mysteries in modern royal history.
I'm shocked to this date to tell you that, because she's not the person I knew as my daughter.
To be honest with you guys, I really like both my girls. I'm not thrilled with what one of my daughters is doing. And I have no clue what made her do this. We've talked about this stuff before, that she's telling some lies. In his own words, the version of Meghan the public got to know, the super cool Hollywood actress who became a Duchess, wasn't exactly the same lady the paperwork hinted at. The story you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle. It's a timeline that's all messed up, a past that just doesn't line up, and proof that even the police can't make disappear. Somewhere between the Hollywood spotlight and the royal bling, the numbers stopped making sense. And Thomas Markle just told us why. This isn't just a guess. It's a huge shocker that could flip a 1,000-year-old royal family totally upside down, starting with Meghan's actual age. Because see if the documents I'm about to show you are right. Meghan Markle isn't 44. She might actually be way older than the whole world was told.
Do you blame Harry for that?
I don't know. I don't know. I blame her or Harry. I think she had influence on Harry more than he does on her. So I won't blame Harry.
Samantha, Markle has never lied to me. Every single thing that she has ever said about either you or Meghan has been totally true. And she is now suing Meghan. Let's go back to the very beginning so you can understand this better. When most dads talk about their daughters, they sound warm and fuzzy. But when Thomas Markle talks about Meghan, it feels way heavier, like a guy trying to fix history before it's too late. He remembers her childhood being full of drama club, big dreams, and a lot of drive. But when Meghan got famous, he noticed something that didn't quite match up. The stories she told everyone about her life's timeline. Like when she finished school, when she started acting, and even how old she was when she got her first big gig. Didn't fit the memories he kept as her father. No pro, I'm totally fine with facing her in court and arguing against what she has to say. Thomas wasn't yelling from the rooftops. He was talking slow, being super careful, almost like he was giving evidence. He suggested that Meghan wasn't as young as the police made her out to be, that her official birth year might have been changed. And those words coming from her own dad hit differently. They weren't kind you could just brush off as gossip. They came from someone who'd once held her baby pictures in his hands. So me knew who remembered dates and big moments, not from magazines, but from real life. When brought up that the Meghan he raised didn't really match the story the police was pushing, it caused the first crack in her royal image for a while. It's been talked about a lot. Royal fans are sure Meghan Markle is lying about how old she is. In fact, they think she's older. And that's not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about stuff. And that's where the paper trail starts. March 1997. Teenagers all over America are flipping through 17 magazine, which was the cool mag for high school girls dreaming of college, careers, and becoming a star. Hidden deep inside that issue on page 90, a small list of names pops up. One of them says Meghan Markle, age 21. At first, it seems like nothing much, just another name in a long list of hopeful faces. But when you stop and actually do the math, it gets crazy. If Meghan was really born on August 4th, 1981, she would have been 15 years old in March 1997, not 21. That is a 6-year difference. Not a mistake, not any error. A full 6-year gap between the official story and what was printed in a magazine sold all over the country has put together a slideshow. Let's actually get to the real deal on this issue, and it's a shocker. Here we go. So, if you look it up on Google, is she lying about her age? Right now, 41. Well, she'd be 42 today. But is this for real? There's a rumor she's actually older. So, let's check out the evidence.
I think she had no intention of staying long-term within the royal family. I have lots to back that up, by the way. I mean, she was working with her Hollywood team. The whole time she was in the royal family, they were lining up commercial deals for her. I mean, who does that? She never really understood it. She was a mature woman. She wasn't a young woman like Princess Diana. I mean, this was a divorcee in her mid-30s. But I think she was very disappointed that life within the royal family wasn't like life in Hollywood, where you are treated like an untouchable star, where you have people doing everything for you. You know, you really are pampered. And Meghan was a real diva too. When the story first broke about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I had never heard of her. I hadn't watched Suits at that point. So this wasn't a big star. This was a mediocre, dime a dozen American sort of TV actress. And this was the biggest break of her life. The fact that Meghan Markle was lining up a post-divorce tell-all autobiography deal when she still remains in her marriage with Prince Harry. I mean, that gives you some indication as to where this is going. But it's not going to be easy for Harry to get out. Completely created the situation himself, and the way that he turned on his own family was just disgusting.
This is a copy of. Now, this isn't some random internet story. This is printed on paper, a document that was sold and saved way before Meghan ever became a Duchess. You can still check out that page right now, and the number is there, staring back at you. If that magazine was correct, then the whole basis of her story, her education, her Hollywoodland, her young-looking actress vibe, all gets pushed back by years. It would mean Meghan wasn't a 20-something chasing her dream when she started acting. She was closer to 30, already a woman who was changing her spot in an industry that loves young people. The mystery gets even deeper because if the 17 record is true, the Meghan we've seen in the news might be 6 years older than Palace, the reporters, and even her own life story says. And here's where things start to get even more twisted. Because if timeline is wrong, if her real age doesn't match the paperwork, then how exactly was she able to have Archie and Lilibet? Just think about that. The weddings, the babies, the life she built with Prince Harry. We'll get to that real soon. But first, let's take a closer look at how this double timeline even started. 1997. In it says our Meg is from Los Angeles and that she was 21 years old when the magazine came out. That would mean she was born in 81. Is she 42 years old? Or is she closer to 47 years old? In a Newsweek story that looked at this exact same question, it checked out what her sister side by side. The mix-up is impossible to ignore. Story 1, the official record. Meghan Markle, born August 4th, 1981, Los Angeles, California. That makes her 44 years old in 2025. This story is everywhere, in palace files, online bios, and royal press releases. It's set in stone. Story 2, the magazine record. Meghan Markle, 21 in 1997. That moves her birth year to around 1975 or 1976, meaning she'd be almost 50 today. That's not a small detail. That's a 6-year total change of who she is. Think about what that means. It changed how old she was when she graduated, when she first got acting jobs, and even when she met Prince Harry. If she was born in the mid-70s, she wasn't a rising 36-year-old actress when she married into the royal family. She was a woman in her early 40s joining one of the world's most watched institutions. This is why the ink versus pencil idea really matters. Ink is forever like a birth certificate. Pencil can be wiped out, redrawn, or tweaked like a public image. The world was given the ink version of Meghan's story. But that 17 magazine record was faint pencil, forgotten, but still there if you look super close, and so, between a father statement and old magazine's files, and a 6-year gap that won't go away, the mystery starts to form, not as just gossip, but as a puzzle of public records, each one hinting that the Duchess of Sussex might be older than anyone thought. But if that's true, then where else have their records been changed? And who made sure that happened? Now, let's talk about the one thing royal PR can't mess with, the pregnancies. In a new report, Thomas Markle claimed that Meghan Markle's super polished story about Archie's birth wasn't just confusing, it was totally made up. And for the first time, he wasn't standing by himself. According to a Portland hospital insider, someone who worked right inside those of walls, the official story of what happened, as told in Prince Harry's book Spare, didn't match up with how things really go behind those closed doors. Harry's book painted a movie-like scene. 2 epidurals, a calm room, a fast recovery, and the couple leaving within 2 hours to go back to Frogmore Cottage. It sounded peaceful, controlled and perfect, but anyone who knows about giving birth, especially inside fancy hospitals like Portland, could see the problems right away. Because Portland Hospital isn't a spa, it's a medical place with strict rules for recovery, especially for moms who are high risk. And those 2 epidurals, doctors say that is almost impossible. Epidurals are continuous, not something you take twice like pain pills. So, if Harry's story was correct, then either medical rules were ignored, or the story was never supposed to be medically accurate in the first place. What started as a fairy tale birth was about to turn into something much weirder. A story that no longer fit the royal script. Here's where it gets interesting. Harry's story says Meghan gave birth, got better, and washed him at Frogmore Cottage in just 2 hours. But the drive from Portland Hospital to Frogmore alone takes about an hour, sometimes more. That means everything delivery, recovery, being watched, getting discharged would have had to fit into just 1 hour. Add 2 epidurals into that time, and the story falls apart completely, because every woman who's ever gotten one knows you can't walk, let alone leave right after. You have to wait for the medicine to wear off, your vital signs to get steady, and your blood pressure to go back to normal. And that is only if everything is perfect. If sources say Meghan was dealing with high blood pressure or early signs of preeclampsia, she wouldn't have been allowed to leave at all. It's the kind of melon that belongs in a fairy tale, not a hospital record book. And yet, it's the story the world was told, confirmed, signed, and delivered with a royal touch. Some people say that's when the story stopped being about medicine and started being about image control. Every medical record points to one thing. Meghan's pregnancy was geriatric, which is the medical word for expecting moms over 35. That's not an insult. It's a risk level. It requires closer monitoring, fewer things that can go wrong, and full-time medical staff watching during labor. So, when Harry talked about birthing balls, candles, and a wellness retreat vibe, doctors everywhere were shocked. That's not how high-risk births are handled. According to the Hospital Insider, Portland doesn't DOSPA births for moms who are flagged as high-risk. The setup Harry described: warm lights, water tub, birthing bowl would never have been okayed for someone who needed close medical watching. It's not being careless, it's following the rules. And then came the mention of preeclampsia, one of the most serious problems a mother can face. For anyone who's gone through it, the treatment is tough. Magnesium sulfate, blood pressure meds, and non-stop monitoring, not scented candles. So, if Meghan really had that condition, as has been suggested, her reported 2-hour exit from delivery to going home isn't just unlikely, it's medically impossible. By the time you get to the end of this whole thing, the pattern is super clear. Every part of Archie's birth, from the epidurals to the candles, the secret elevator to the 2-hour trip home, seems like it was touched not by the truth, but by a performance. Thomas Markle called it out as lies. The hospital insider backed it up with real-life experience, and between their stories is a gap the palace can't seem to fill, a silence that's louder than any denial. Maybe the mistakes aren't accidents. Maybe they were planned. Because when you build a royal image on being perfect and classy, you can't have messy details. You can only have edits. And so Maberkey's birth wasn't supposed to be remembered as it actually happened, but as it needed a look, flawless, magical, and controlled, but underneath that perfect surface is the sound of something real. A story that don't fit, a script that doesn't work, and a truth that won't stay hidden, because if the fairy tale doesn't match up, then maybe it was never a fairy tale at all. Maybe it was the kingdom's biggest attempt at a rewrite. One where birth, age, and image were all drawn in pencil, waiting for someone brave enough to hold the page up to the light. And now that light is here, because once you've seen real lines under the ink, you can never unsee them again.